Hi, it's me again, guys. I'm here to do another day of fun learning about science, and we're going to talk more about part of our germbrella. So I hope you're ready, because I am. So the two parts of our germbrella that we're going to learn a little bit more about today are bacteria and viruses. So as we can see, the bacteria are part of our germbrella, and so there are different types. Many different types, and they are small single-celled organisms that multiply. That means that they create themselves like clones, and these are the different types and shapes that you could see. Only a few of them because there's lots more, but you could see that there's some round ones, and sometimes they like to bunch together to make groups of 4 or little pyramids, or even like a conga line. Some of them look like little hot dogs. Did someone say hot dogs? I like hot dogs. Not that kind of hot dog. Little teeny tiny things that you can barely see, and they like to connect end to end like this, or sometimes they are side by side and connect this way, and sometimes they're just all by themselves. They even have little bumps in them sometimes too. Also, there are shapes of bacteria that might look like slugs, or they might look like kind of like a corn dog that has a string attached to it, or maybe this one that looks kind of like a worm or a stick. But there are so many different shapes and sizes of bacteria, and sometimes they like to bunch together, and sometimes they like to be alone. But all of them do the same kind of thing. They bring things into your body called toxins, which makes you feel sick. And that's not good. But there are also other types of bacteria that are good for you. They help your body to digest food and do other great things. So not all bacteria are bad. Let's remember that, because nobody likes being told that they're bad when they're not, because there is some great bacteria out there, which we should be super thankful for. Another part of our germbrella that we're going to learn about today is the viruses. And this one's been pretty prevalent in our society with the coronavirus. So let's learn a little bit more about these. So like I said, we're going to learn a little bit more about viruses. And look at all these different shapes that we have. We have ones that look like little spirals. These ones are spirals. And then they have ones that have different sizes and shapes and sides. And then there's some that are looking round and have these little crazy arms that come out of them. And then some just look like little bits of ribbon or worms. Then there's some that have pointy spikes. And then these ones are called complex viruses because they have all these different types combined together to make a crazy looking robot virus. Pretty crazy, right? But guess what? These are so tiny. You know how tiny? I'll show you. So we learned about our bacteria, which is part of our germbrella, and now we're learning about the viruses, and those are even smaller than the bacteria. You know how small they are? Look at this. You see this little tiny dot right here? This one, super small. It's just a period on the paper. Now, inside of that little teeny tiny dot, look how small it is. Inside of that, there are over 400 million viruses. Isn't that crazy? In this little teeny tiny dot, there's over 400 million viruses. It's insane. Did you know that there are over 200 types of cold viruses? Because every time you get a cold or the flu, those are viruses that have come into your body somehow. That's why it's so important to wash our hands and sneeze into our elbows. So do you remember how yesterday we talked about how the germ was like our school, and at each classroom inside of that germ was a different type of germ, just like in our germbrella? But here's another example. So this big box would be the germ, and then this half would be like your classroom, and this other half, let's say that's the office. So inside this half, which is your classroom, you guys might be the bacteria. You're part of the school, but you're your own bit. You're a bacteria. And inside of your classroom, you have different people, which look different too. So there are different types of bacteria in that classroom. And just like in the office, there are different viruses. We're gonna make them viruses. And let's say that this virus is Dr. Cam, and this virus is Miss Satterwhite. They're doing the same things, but they're different people. So that's the same kind of thing like bacteria and viruses are. They do different things from each other, but they're all different types of germs, which is kind of cool and fascinating, isn't it? All right, so let's go over one more time what we've learned on this day 3 of week 2 lesson. We talked about our germbrella and all the different types of germs that we find inside of it. Today, we specifically looked at 2 of them. One of them was bacteria. The other one or viruses. So the bacteria and the viruses are different, but they're still all considered germs. Some of the bacteria look different than others. Some look like round things, some look like hot dogs, some look like slugs. And the viruses, they all look different too. There are spirals, and there are little ones that have these crazy things coming off of them, and then we have our complex ones, which are crazy. But they all do different things. The bacteria are a little bit bigger than the viruses. And remember, the viruses, there's a teeny tiny dot right here that over 400 million of them fit inside of that one little teeny tiny dot, which is crazy. But some of the bacteria actually, let's remember, are all bacteria bad? Nope. Some of them are really good for us, but the viruses, they don't help us at all. They just make us feel sick. These ones, the bacteria, they like to copy themselves and they don't need any help doing it. They just do it on their own. But viruses, they need to invade something that's already living so that they can make more of themselves. That's kind of mean, isn't it? But that's how they work. So bacteria, they're not all bad, but some of them are. And viruses, nobody likes them. So we're going to do our best to try to not get these in our body, and we're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow. So I hope you come back for day 4 of our week 2 lessons. Thanks for sharing your time with me. I had a lot of fun teaching you a little bit more about bacteria and viruses. And all germs are cool. It's fun to learn about science. So tomorrow I hope you come back so we can learn a little bit more. It's going to be a lot of fun, I hope. So please come join me. But until then, I'm Factoria Fil, and my cousin wants to say hi, but she's not here right now. So I guess you'll see her another time. But until tomorrow, be good, be awesome, and have a great day. You're really cool. Bye.